Welcome to another edition of Vintage Drum Restoration Garage. And today I've got a George Way throw-off that needs some attention. Before I get to that, people have asked me how they can contact me directly, and here's how you do it. And you can email me directly at budsmusic@hotmail.com, and I'll get back to you. Anyway, it's budsmusic@hotmail.com if you want to get a hold of me, and we can discuss whatever you're thinking about. Anyway, I've got a George Way catalog here that this throw-off here is one of mine, and it needs some help here. I'm missing the top tension knob here, but I've got some ideas on that. And this particular one has this sort of a handle here. It's a little bent. I don't know if I'm going to try to bend it or not. They made a couple different versions of this. This shows this particular one. You see that spring in there. Anyway, we'll tear it apart. You'll get to that. What I wanted to show you is they made a couple different models of these throw-offs, and I guess the arms were different. I hope that's coming in clear. They had like a kind of a sharp arm on it right here, as you can see. Let's see if I can bring that in a little closer. Had kind of a sharp arm on that. I don't know, that doesn't look, it looks fuzzy. That's probably as good as I can get. And I'm actually trying to help out a friend of mine. Maybe you guys know him, Blair Holben. He's out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And me and Blair have been doing business since the mid-'80s, maybe later '80s actually. Anyway, he's got one of these throw-offs, and he's wondering how to get it repaired. And I said, look, I'll tear mine apart, and maybe this will help you get it together. I've also got this other catalog here that shows this particular throw-off, and as you can see, it has that same arm on it. This arm here, and they called this drum at the time the new Rialto model, which was basically an aristocrat, same thing. Anyway, I just wanted to show you what throw-off we were working on, and look at these catalogs I got. They're like new condition. I got these off of a guy. Look at, they're really just beautiful. Really hard to get catalogs too. Okay, so what I'm going to do here first is I want to tear this thing completely apart. Although it works, I just thought for demonstration and to help old Blair over there, we just take this one apart, and he wants to know what size spring this thing has. Hopefully it'll help him. So I'm going to have to knock this pin out of here to get this arm off of here. So that's what I'm going to do first. All we're doing is taking a punch, a small punch, and we're tapping this pin out of here enough to where we can grab it with some dikes. I've knocked it out of here a little bit, and I'm just going to grab it out of there. So we'll take this pair of dikes and just pulling that pin out of there the rest of the way. And there it is. Now this handle should come right off. me get this handle off of here. I'm just lightly prying this with a screwdriver in this gap here. And I don't want to make any marks on the outside of the throw off, so I'm being very careful. Okay, I've got that handle off of there, and I've straightened it out in the vise. And this particular throw off has 3 screws here, and this plate goes over the top here, and I guess these 2 screws, what I'm guessing, well, wait, this screw here on the bottom and this screw in the top actually holds the guts in this thing. Let's see if I'm right. I'm going to take these screws out. Let's see what we've got here. Now, I asked Blair, did he have 3 screws in the top of his throw off, and he said no. So they do make different throw offs. Okay, so I'm trying to pull the guts out of this throw off here, and I think I'm going to have to take out those other 2 screws on the top. That's probably how you get this thing apart. I think all 4 of these screws are the same. We'll match them up and see what's going on here. Don't want to lose them. Alright, so we've got that plate off now. And as you can see, these guts are... Here's that spring that I guess Blair is missing. That's that little spring. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to measure it real good. These are the mounting screws here to mount it to the shell. I'm going to set this here aside. And then I guess what we've got here is we've got this block here. Trying to figure out how they want you to take that out. Let's see here. Well, the only thing I can figure is, not that it's important that this thing comes out of here, because it's not. I mean, nothing's broken in there. But this part won't make it out of the slotted part here. I mean, it's close, but the more you... I mean, it won't make the turn. So I don't know if they silver soldered this rod in here after. I mean, after they put these parts in here, or what? I can't figure out how they get it out of here. And like I say, it's not important that we get it out of there. Everything works there. That's fine. So I just thought I'd let you know. That's kind of got me scratching my head why that is. Okay, I'm just going to spray some brake parts cleaner in here just to clean it up a little bit. Don't need a whole lot, just enough to get the grime out of here. And then let it kind of roll around there and clean up some of the crap in there. And now I'm just going to use a paintbrush and clean around in there real good. I just want to keep it from getting bound up at all. I mean, I'm already at it, so I might as well clean it up. So that looks good. I will lubricate it when I'm done, when I'm reinstalling this whole thing now. Oh, so here I'm just going to pour out the junk that was in there so you can see how brown it is. So that was a worthy endeavor, I guess. Right, so I've cleaned this throw off all nice, ready to start installing the parts again. Turned out pretty nice. Okay, so what Blair is concerned with is the length of this, the overall length here of this spring, including the little hooks on the end, is 7/8 of an inch. The spring length, meaning from end to end of just the spring, is 7/16. And the width of the spring is right around 3/16 spring width. Now the tension on the spring is, let me just try to pull it here. It's pretty stout. You know, I'm giving it a pretty good yank, and it isn't pulling apart. So, you know, it needs to be pretty. I don't know what that would be, but I'm just showing you. I'm pulling quite hard on it. And also, you'll notice that the I don't think that really matters. It would work, but these are facing kind of opposite. This one's going one way and the other one's going the other. And if you look at the ends, it's kind of a hook thing on one end and a circle on the other. I don't think that it would really matter if you had a hook on both ends. You definitely need a hook on one end, though. Okay, so hopefully that helps you right there. Okay, now on to reinstalling this thing. You'll notice this part here that swivels around to meet the handle. It has to be turned just right. So you pop this up a little bit and let it turn, and then you'll see it's like a cam here, and it has to roll on that. So it just follows that cam as it goes up and down. Okay, so I'm going to put the spring on here. Now the hook end goes on this plate here, which goes in the south position, meaning at the bottom. I'm just going to hook that in there, and then I'm going to try to grab this end of this spring and put it on the this part here that accepts it. And there's a, see, now you'll see that's on there. You see that it's got a slot in there that spring goes into, so it doesn't come off. And now I'm going to try to put a screw in the bottom of this thing here. I think I'll put the bottom one in first. So we've got the bottom screw in, just started. I didn't tighten it up. You see it's a space in here. And you're working your way through this slot in the turret here. As you see, it got to work its way through there, and then that's why I'm not tightening it. And now this plate here has to go on the top of this part here to hold it in. George Way was a real genius. He came up with all these ideas, and all these throw-offs are just works of art. They came up with, I don't know how, I might do a video on just how many throw-offs George Way came up with. Well, he came up with a bunch of them at Leedy, too. Way before this, pun unintended. And he got his start there, I believe, at Leedy. Could be wrong. So I've got these two screws tightened, and I've got to change this battery. Alright, I've got all those screws attached. You can see everything works good. There's that spring, it's in there, and it's operational now. So I'm going to reinstall this handle, and then we'll be back at ground zero. There's a little trick to installing these handles or anything with one of these spring pins in it, and you know, getting the holes to line up right while you're doing it. Oh, you think you've got it, and then you go to put the pin in and it's moved. So what I do is I put a, you know, like almost the same diameter rod, anything you can find, even a drill bit, put it in there just to hold it in place, and then it kind of gives me a place to start to put that pin in. And this is hard to do on camera, but I just thought I'd give you that little tip. And once you've got that pin started, you can just lightly tap it, and that other little rod that you're using just slowly goes out of there. Then you don't need it because you've got it pretty much in line. Okay, now we're back where we started. One in a row, as they say. And, you know, works basically the same. The problem I had with this one is I had this part, but I don't have a handle. And, well, I mean the tension knob up here. So I'm searching around my parts, and I've got, this is like a Ludwig or Leedy. I need chrome, and that just doesn't look right. You know, it has to be kind of flush. So these knobs have to be, like I say, sort of flush. These are two different examples of Camco throw-offs, kind of different years. As you know, this one is flatter on the top, and this takes more of a dome shape. But basically, they're a lot closer to the turret than say this, which would look kind of funny sticking up. I just wanted to show you that. And then I came up with this Ludwig one, but once again it's sticking up, and I had the idea of maybe cutting it off and, you know, doing certain things. I mean, it would look okay, I guess. I mean, it would look pretty close, really. They're about the same diameter and everything. But the threading pattern, although the same threads that I need, 1032, it's not long enough. That's an easy enough fix. But then I got thinking, you know, I might find the right one someday. I might. You never know. So I started digging in my MIJ import throw-off stuff, and I came up with these throw-offs that are sort of like a P83, 85, sort of a rip-off, but it has this knob on the end that's, I don't mind cutting it up, and you know, it has to look right, but I don't really want to cut into my old vintage parts if I don't have to. So I think I'm going to use this and try to find that threading. I need something longer. So let me work on that. I'm going to take this part off of here and maybe cut it. I've located looks to be about 2 inches of thread here, and they're not the correct threads. So I ran my die up about halfway with the 1032, and now they screw into the bottom part real good, you know, all the way as far as I need them to go, and they stop about right here, which is fine because you're going into the throw off here, the square tubing. Now I just need to find out where to cut it, and then where to cut that top part, because this can't go any further than that. So probably I would really want to just cut this top off here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread into the top of this one here, blind. I don't want the top here with a hole in it. I want to make it look as tasteful as possible. So what I've done is I've cut that knob off of that throw off to my desired length here, and they've already got a hole kind of started here. And what I'll probably do is I got to figure out where I want to cut this thing, probably cut it up a little bit further, and I don't know if I'll be able to tap it. That's a problem. But I can liquid metal it in there, I believe. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. Okay, now I'm drilling that knob out a little bit. Okay, so check it out. I've got my rod cut off with the smaller threads down at this end. I've got my hole drilled in the knob. Did not go through the top, but I went down as far as I thought I could go. It goes in there, and I'm going to JB weld this thing in. I've had really good luck with JB weld, and let it dry, and then we're going to come back and see how it works. Of course you want to watch me mix up JB Weld. I know you do. 2 parts equal, way too much, of course. That's okay. I'm just going to mix this up and hope for the best. This is kind of an old batch, so... Alright, I'm going to shove some in the knob here, and then I'm going to put some on these threads too. That way we've got a good bond. And then it'll all come smushing out. And that's what we thought. And there it is. I'm going to wipe off the excess, and then I'm going to clamp it in the vise so it doesn't come apart. And there it is. We'll let it dry in there. I clamped it in there. I think it's as square as it can be. Might have a little bit of wobble, but we'll see what happens here. Okay, well that's what about an hour of your time will accomplish. One working George Way throw off. Looks pretty good. Actually, that knob looks could almost pass for original in the dark. Just wanted to show you guys how it works. And there's about 3/4 of an inch of play You can bring this up quite a ways, you know, before you run out of thread. So it's about right, and looks nice. It's working now, and you could install it and have a working drum. So hopefully you guys like this short edition of Vintage Drum Restoration Garage, and stay tuned for more videos. Alright, talk to you then.